So I guess,
Okay. What's that? Yes. Hello, everyone. Sonia. Hello. Are you there, Sonia?
hello, I am. One, two, three, mic test.
Yes, we are back we're calling this episode 5.
Yes, episode 5.
Although there are 2 lost episodes out there due to the audio gremlins.
Yes,
Which is a
unfortunately,
bummer.
I know. They got watered after midnight.
Right. Yes. Yeah, that's terrible. But we're back, and what we're going to do for the first time in, I think, 3 weeks officially, is to give we're calling it a Southern California update or an LA update.
I think that would be more fluid with time. So I think we should say that.
Yes, and we're recording this on Saturday, June 13th, and a lot has happened in the last 3 weeks since we've done an update.
Yes, that is true. A lot is reopening. The fun and joys, and people are out, and I've hit traffic again. I was so bummed.
Yeah, I was gonna say traffic is back.
I
Yay!
know, and it's still not even that bad, but I was like, really? I had to stop and wait for a moment.
And yeah, you know what? I was thinking about that because I have been enjoying. I actually take the freeway to work. I've been able to take the 105 and the 405 briefly, which are main thoroughfares here in Southern California. And it's taken me about 20 to 25 minutes to get to work. So there's really no traffic. And, as things have been opening up in stages here in California, I've been wondering, okay, am I going to start to see a slow buildup over time? Or am I going to experience from one day to the next, just boom, traffic? And for me, that's what happened Thursday. I was coming back from the LA area. It's rare. I have to take the 10 because most of our customers that I go inspect homes in really aren't past the 10 or using the 10.
Mm.
But I did. And coming back 4 o'clock,
Ooh.
heading westbound towards the beach, no problem. It was regular traffic speed, but I could see those poor souls on the 10 eastbound, which is, interstate, sitting in, stop and go traffic, just backed up for miles all the way to the 405. And I said, oh my
Oh,
goodness, it's back.
wow.
So yeah, so in my case, I experienced it from one day to the next, just boom, there it is. And sure enough, once I hit the 405 heading south, I was in traffic. It was stop and go. So it wasn't quite bumper to bumper like it
Right.
has been. But yeah, it's here. Yay.
Wow. I actually experienced it, I think it was Monday, I want to say, because I went and saw one of my mobile agents that I work for. I haven't seen her since, well, I haven't seen her since I actually was hired onto her company.
Oh,
But
okay.
because it's mobile, we just do everything
Hmm.
um like through mobile, basically. Like anything we can do is all through like payment and stuff when I pick up clients for her, it's all done remotely, so I don't have to see
Hmm.
her. I can, I talk to her on the phone quite a bit, but I haven't seen her since I actually my interview. And I was talking to her, and we were talking about like a new kind of business model. Because one, this is kind of interesting because with the whole Lyft and Uber and the that whole um law that was passed, that now independent contractors are employees.
Right.
So that is something that, like that kind of messed with our business model. And I'm like, I don't want to be an employee. There was a reason why I
Mm.
chose to be an independent contractor. I don't, like I work my own hours. And so, we were kind of talking, and I said, you know what, why don't I just come see you? It's been a long time, and we were also talking about the reopening stages of massage as well. So there
Yeah.
was like a couple things that we kind of wanted to talk about. So I drove, she lives in Agora Hills, and like I live near Culver City here, and I think it was like a Tuesday that I went up. Yeah, it was Tuesday I drove up. And I actually on the way back hit some traffic. And I in the morning it was okay.
Yeah.
But on the way back, which was like around like 12:30, it was back and I was like, "Oh my goodness. Traffic, there's traffic again."
Yeah.
And I was not impressed. That was the
Yeah. I
one
was
thing that was
so,
so nice.
yes, yes, I was so disappointed, but, kind of glad in a way, deep, 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 deep down, because, no one likes traffic. I think anyone listening in other parts of the country that have to deal with traffic, no one likes traffic.
Nobody likes
Um,
traffic.
no. And, so having to deal with it, I was like, oh, it sucks. But in a way, I'm kind of glad because I know people are going to get back to work and hopefully
Right.
start earning an income if they haven't been. Um, but we started off the segment by saying a lot has happened, and for us, we're experiencing quite a bit because we started. We've been in this stay-at-home order, which has slowly been opening up, and then what was it? 2 weeks ago, you went on your road trip out of state.
Yes. I can't believe it's 2 weeks already. It feels like so long
Yes,
ago. But
and right when you came back, what a day or two
I
after
think it was a
the
day
yeah
I
the
was back.
demonstrations started here in Southern California as well to protest the death of George Floyd,
Right.
and then unfortunately some looting started breaking into businesses. So then we were curfewed, where we had to, depending on what city you were in. I think Santa Monica on the third or fourth day put in a curfew as of 1 p.m.
Right. I remember that. I was close to
Yes,
right there.
yes, and then
And
we had an earthquake. Did you feel the earthquake?
I didn't feel it, but I did see it. I did
Right.
see
Yeah,
it.
I
And
didn't.
then I read on top of it, there's like a tropical storm hitting the Gulf. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, can we just get a moment? Can we just have a
Right.
moment, please?
Right. Yeah, I mean it's been a intense three
Turbulence.
weeks. Yes, not only that, but we I don't know if it's nationwide, but at least here in Southern California, we were getting alerts on our phones, like an Amber Alert,
Yes. Uh-huh.
but to say curfew, for this county or this city. So, I'm at work and all of a sudden all these phones going off,
Yeah.
and people going, what the heck? And so it was very interesting. And, driving around now, it's been really, I think, a week now, at least, since the demonstrations have remained relatively peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as a consequence of the businesses getting broken in, as I drive around, and I don't know if you've seen this, I've noticed many businesses, mainly in the LA area, like none here in the South Bay, like Torrance, Redondo. I haven't seen any. Well, actually, not true. This morning I did see one. A gun shop in Torrance had its windows boarded up.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, but driving around LA, I did see a lot of businesses that I don't think were broken into, but were just concerned that they did board up their windows. So I have seen like T-Mobile's, a lot of cell phone stores I've seen boarded up their windows. Um, I also did see a Starbucks that I drove by that had an armed security guard walking outside.
Oh, wow.
So have you seen anything like that as you've been driving around when you have gotten
Yes.
out?
Well, I do tend to be in Santa Monica quite often. And when I I like to exercise as far as doing like hiking and walking in neighborhoods that have a lot of like hills or inclines. So I do a lot of
Mm,
walking in the Palisades. And I usually cut through Santa Monica and then like I know like a little back way and then I get up to Sunset and go over. But on the way back, I passed through like where that Montana Avenue.
hmm
I think it's 7th and Montana. And when I was sitting there in the intersection, or it was like Lincoln, I don't remember, but there was a Starbucks there and only one door was boarded. So I don't know if that was meant that, like, because
Oh.
if it was one-sided, I'm like, oh, they must have broken on that. And
Mm-hmm.
then it was each building on the corner was completely boarded up. So I don't know if it was from break-in or
Mm-hmm.
if it was just for protection. I don't know that
Right.
part. And even in Santa Monica, it's the same. There's like certain streets that look like they were hit pretty hard as far as
Mm.
like I mean, there's definitely like the tagging, the what's it, the graffiti everywhere.
Oh,
And
okay. Which is not
there's,
common in Santa Monica.
well, it is, but not like the way it was. Like this
Mm.
was like messages putting out there, whereas there is, I mean, you see like the signs a little bit or like the small little stupid stuff on the sidewalk or something like that, but nothing where it's really um defacing businesses or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a friend who is a photographer and he actually he lives in West Hollywood close to Melrose. And he did a video like I think he was driving in his car and he made a video of just driving down Melrose. And that's where they were hit really hard with a lot of looting, breaking in, and there was just massive amounts of defacing of graffiti everywhere, saying like I
Oh.
can't breathe, get off me, I can't breathe, like a lot of that. But that was
Well,
down
I
on Melrose.
well, I did see, in the news when I got home that first day of the when the looting began, yeah, that they were on Melrose, which was different from the 91, 92 riots where the destruction was mainly in South Central LA areas. But I do remember also catching a glimpse in the news where they actually did break into the Third Street Promenade, which is the Santa Monica
Hmm.
Mall, um, which is just a block or so from the Santa Monica Pier.
Yes. I mean, I haven't been down that way. Maybe I should, you know what? Maybe later I'll go check it out. So maybe I can get some
Careful.
live action footage. Well, I think now it's
It's going to be
okay.
traffic.
I know it's Saturday too. Normally I don't go anywhere on
Yes.
Saturday. My friend and I were
Mm-hmm.
like, let's go get a cup of coffee. And we're like, oh, it's Saturday. There's like nowhere to sit. Forget this. This is why we don't work during the week. We work on the weekends.
Right.
uh, um, but we'll see. Maybe later I'll go check it out and report back. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it was really interesting. And there, and what was interesting is I think the first day that they put the first curfew, it was the second day after the first day of rioting. I was actually in Altadena, and on the way back, um, the opposite side of the freeway, and I can't remember which freeway I was on, but there was probably about 8 cop cars that had blocked traffic from flowing, and
Hmm.
there was a tree on fire. It was a
Oh.
huge, like it
Hmm.
was a huge fire, and then I think it was definitely from the rioting, you know.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Um, I mean, with that amount of cops, that's the only thing I could assume. And it was interesting because then on the way there, I was on like I was actually on that side of the freeway, and the 7 or 8 cops were on the other side, and it looked like they were just patrolling. Because I guess on the 101 is where all the protesters got on the freeway, right, and stopped traffic, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Is if I remember that correctly. Um, I don't know. It's just so interesting because I have never experienced anything like this in my lifetime. I've read about it. I wasn't in Los Angeles with like the huge earthquake, Northridge earthquake. I wasn't here for the LA riots because I'm from Pennsylvania. So for me to really experience something like that, it just blows my mind. Like, wow, this
Yeah.
is, so surreal about what is happening right now.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And fortunately, I think as of this point, I don't know if I've heard of anything new, but I know in Palmdale over the weekend, I read about it 2 days ago, and I was like, is this for real? So yeah, there's some interesting things going on, and we'll see if the demonstrations subside and just now go away, especially as people go back to work, because I think you and I talked about this as it was happening, that, over the past couple of months, there have been things where we read about in the news that are going on in the country right now as we're getting ready for an election year.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm like, wow, it's a good thing we've got this stay at home order and there's a pandemic, or people would be demonstrating. And so that's what really shocked me when we did see these large scale demonstrations, as everyone's seen in the news, is it wasn't just a few, dozen people. It was hundreds of people side by side, some wearing masks,
Everywhere.
some not, right, some wearing them incorrectly. And, you know, regardless of the pandemic, I think you were mentioning that, yes, a lot of people are home and they're antsy and maybe they're angry. And so in a way, it was a perfect opportunity for them to go out and demonstrate.
That's what I thought too. And I think we're coming from already a place of unrest and anxiety. And, we've never had to be told to stay home. We've never had such control from the government on what we're doing with our lives. And I think because, people are on alert and probably, what I was looking last night and I saw an article where it talked about the psychology of the people that hoarded the toilet paper. And I think
Mm,
it was in Germany that they did some type of um it was a volunteered survey test questionnaire to see why people hoarded toilet paper, and there was two kinds of people. The first one was, people were the fear of the virus, like they were just scared and fearful out of their mind, so they stocked up on
hmm.
toilet paper. And then the other people were the ones that are well organized and think ahead. So those were the two types
Yeah.
of people that um, hoarded toilet paper. And so, I mean, those people that were so fearful, there's already, so you're already coming from an anxiety, and then this happens. And these people have been holding on to this anxiety and fear for months already. That has to release, that has to heal. And I felt like this is why people are probably, I mean, that's people are home. They're more glued to the news and really paying attention to what's happening. And especially since it's an election year and we've had such unrest in our own country
Yeah.
because of, our politics. And so I think people just, like they need to release what's going on inside them, and they've been pent up for months inside their place. And this is a way for them to really, I mean, on top of like, this is such a serious thing. And I can't believe it's 2020 and we're still dealing with these issues. It's
Well, yeah.
sad. It's so sad. And I think people are just, like they're over it and they're done. And like, all right,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
do this.
Yeah. And again, I've been gone for over a little over a year because of my work injury. So, there's a strong possibility if I was still out on that injury leave, I probably would have gone out there with the intent of, demonstrating peacefully. Um,
Right.
because it was surprising to see the looting. And I think to me it was more surprising. Apparently, they were breaking it. Some people broke into some restaurants throughout. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
if you're a looter,
They
you're
were
going to break into a
burning them
restaurant?
too. Yeah.
That
That's
made
what
no
was,
sense.
well, another article or I have read a couple different articles where the government is recognizing there's different groups of people. There's the actual peaceful protesters, And then there's the group, the opportunist group that are taking advantage of this
Hmm.
situation and using it as a form to do their rioting.
Well, there weren't some
So
very smart looters because I don't know if you did you catch the news? Were you watching glimpses of it at all?
a little bit, some of it.
Yeah, me too.
What
Well,
caught your eye?
because yeah, I kind of got bored, so I don't watch the whole thing because they kind of keep harping over the same thing. But just dumb criminals. Every now and then you hear a dumb criminal story, and here was this group, and I don't know if they were oblivious to the cameras. There was a news crew at ground level,
Mm.
recording the shoe store being broken into. I think it was on Melrose. And these cars are pulling up right in front of the store. People are getting out. Granted, they had masks on, but your car is visible with its
Oh,
license
license
plate
plate. That is
being recorded by a
hilarious.
news crew. Yes, and I was like, you moron.
Wow.
And yes, and I don't condone that at all, but I did see on Twitter there was a short video where people were kind of laughing, making light of this because it was hard to make light of what was going on with the looting, but a group of people up in Oregon broke into a cheesecake factory.
No.
And there was a
Why?
short video of someone with a mask and a hood walking away with what looked like a cheesecake in their hand. That's all they had, a cheesecake. And they're
Oh,
walking away. And people
wow.
were just like, yes, like totally, like you're my hero. I just,
I mean,
I was
if you're
just
gonna,
crazy.
yeah, I mean, I hope he had a good dinner, but to
Yes.
go to jail for that, I don't know.
I just
Over a
thought that was
cheesecake? That is
hilarious.
pretty
Yeah,
funny. That actually is really
cheesecake.
funny.
Uh, and I mean, Cheesecake Factory, I think they're okay. They actually, there was about a month ago, it was kind of leaked that they had sent a letter to all of their landlords that they were
Oh,
not going to pay rent.
oh, wow.
Yeah, that due to the issue and that their business, their sales have been hurt, which I'm sure they have because they're a big spot where people go to dine. But, they are open for takeout. And that, yeah, it was released that they had sent a letter to all of their landlords that they weren't going to be paying rent.
Wow. I
Yeah.
actually saw an article where the landlords are suing Los Angeles County for the
Mm.
retail tenants that weren't paying, that they're trying to sue Los Angeles County
Mm.
for their money, but there's a law in place that protects, that says in cases of emergency you can't seek uh payment.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, good luck with that, landlords. I was like, ooh, because that's kind of like,
Right.
I understand, like I mean, the landlords, they have bills that they have to pay too.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
just a domino effect. But
Right.
then they should be able to be covered too, right? That's how I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how there has to be some way that you can work with if they have a loan out or something like that. I mean,
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
even know, because here's the thing. For the first month, I didn't pay my rent either when we first went down. I've been able to
Mm.
pay it since, that I'm on unemployment now. But
Yeah.
once that's lifted, I don't know what's going to happen. All I can say is, like, I hopefully they'll work out a payment plan with me that I can pay a little bit extra over each month until I pay it off. That's my only hopes
Right.
of.
Right.
And I've been a good tenant otherwise. I mean, that's like the only little thing that's ever happened. And I'm
Right.
thinking, they can't, like, what are you going to do? Evict the whole entire building then? If they
Right.
can't, like, that, I don't understand how that's going to work. And luckily, my place is rent control too. So I don't know if that will help me
Which those are
with that.
very rare in
Yeah.
LA.
I didn't even know that this place was rent controlled until I had, like, came in and started signing the lease. They're like, "Oh, it's rent control." I'm like, "Oh, I don't even know. Like, I didn't even know."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, oh, sure, of course." You know?
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, moving on from the demonstrations, because that was quite that took up quite a bit of our lives, I think, for that week or so.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Especially every
but
afternoon when your phone goes off and then you hear
yes, yes. But my personal COVID-19 updates are ground beef is back. Real ground beef is back in the grocery stores. And we talked about this, I think, in that episode that was destroyed by the audio gremlins. But I had gone last weekend or the weekend before to look for ground beef, which is rare because I haven't been buying it, but I didn't find it. I just found this like loaf. It looked like a pound cake, and it just did not look like ground beef. In fact, we put it on our Twitter page, so y'all can check it out there.
and
But last
Instagram. It's on
weekend,
Instagram too.
yes, that's right. It's on both our pages, and it was gross. And but now I found ground beef. It's back, so
Oh,
I did grab
good.
one.
And it's
Yes, so
normal.
that's
It looks
back.
normal.
Yes, it's totally normal what you expect ground beef to look like.
Oh,
Yes,
good, good, good. And did you make anything
yes.
with it? Chili or something?
No, not yet. I just grabbed it.
Okay.
Um, but I have been over the last couple of months. I have been on a quest to find the perfect chili recipe, or just a good chili recipe, and I'm still
Yeah.
looking. I've gone through like
Okay.
5 recipes.
Well, let me know. I've actually been on I don't think I've really ever made chili. My mom did.
Really?
I grew up on it.
Okay.
And like a lot of like cowboy beans, the East Coast. My mom cooked very Betty Crocker East Coast, but with a Southern twist.
Ah.
So that was the kind of food that I grew up on, and a little,
Mm.
German. We're a little bit of a German influence too. So my mom was really good at making chili, and I was like,
Wow.
I think I need to
Well,
try. So let me
well,
know when
get
you
her
find a good.
recipe for me,
You know what?
actually.
I will. I will. I will.
And yeah, because I've gone through 5 different, and you go online is where I go. I look and I see what sounds good. Like I'm not looking for crazy hot chili. No, I just want good tasting chili. And I'm still looking.
Maybe our listeners could volunteer a recipe.
Oh, that'd be
That would be a
awesome.
great way. If
Yes.
you could get us a good chili recipe, maybe we could do a cook and review of your recipe. That would be
Yes, that sounds
fun.
great. Yes, it would be for a good cause.
Wonderful.
Yes. And really, the last thing I have for my personal COVID-19 update of what I've been dealing with is I've gone over 3 months now without a haircut, and I'm going crazy.
Oh,
I
it's
can't
no,
take it.
I'm sure it's like tickling your ears and
Oh yes, it's horrible. And well, it's at first it was kind of cool because the back, it was almost like I was growing a mullet, and I pictured myself as a Latino version of Fabio. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be so cool. I'm gonna have this wavy, hair, and that's gonna be so awesome.
you're
But
gonna have to give us
after,
a selfie and I'm gonna have to post it on Instagram, right?
and that didn't happen. That stopped. Instead, the back kind of became a little curly now, and
Oh.
yes, and I mentioned to you a few weeks ago that around the ears, every now and then, the hair would get in there and it would tickle, my ear, which is a problem when I'm inspecting under a home because you don't know if it's a cobweb and you try to get rid of it. And it's really hard because you've got gloves on, right? Because you're not going to go into a house barehanded. It's dirt. So you've got gloves on, so you can't really grab your ear because now you put dirt all over your ear. And but it was still manageable because I could just kind of, put the hair over my ear and it was fine. But now it's like the sides of my head have exploded with hair and now it's like constantly in my ear. And I did look into the Flovi, the
Yeah.
Floby.
Yeah.
Those things are like $200.
What?
Yes.
They're
I
probably
looked on, I
making
think
a
it was,
killing right now.
I didn't think of that. Maybe they've jacked up the price on those
I
things,
would
but
think so. Like probably
yeah.
6 months ago, you probably could have got one for like $30.
Right. Yes. And, I was breaking down because barbershops have been able to open as of, I think, 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
And so yesterday, Friday at work, I was done with inspections for the day. So I called my barbershop and they're still closed. No answer. So I'm like,
Hmm.
And so, I did look at another barber shop. Because this is a mom and pop barbershop here that I go to.
Yeah.
It's what is it up to now? $12 for a haircut. Um,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Years ago, I used to go to Supercuts, and they were like 18 at the time. Um, but the service was so inconsistent. You couldn't always get the same stylist if you liked them.
Yeah.
Um, so I did go online and okay, look at local barbershops around where I work, and I did find one, but because of having to open up with restrictions, you really have to make an appointment. Um, and they're charging $40.
You know what? There's a COVID-19 surcharge now.
Yeah, yeah, and they
I
did
saw
mention that
that.
on their website that said
Restaurants and
something about
hair salons.
yeah, and they did allude to it. They didn't call it that, but they did allude to that in their website that due to the new restrictions and all, they are having to charge more. I was like, wow, $40. I'm used to paying 12 and now going to,
Jeez.
not including tip, now 40.
I don't pay less
So,
than 75, so you're still good.
yes, I know that's expensive though, even especially for you. So, I mean, what do they do?
I don't know. See, that's why I don't go very often. My last haircut was a couple months ago, and the haircut before that was 4 years. So
Wow.
I have really long curly hair, so I don't really, I'm like, whatever, I don't need to go. I don't dye my hair, so there's no reason for me to really go except for, I
Right.
do get some split ends and stuff. So from time to, I
Ah.
realized I probably won't wait that long next time. Um, but I have so much hair, so sometimes
Ah,
they
okay.
will, it just depends. I feel like you used to be able to you could wash your hair, get it cut and styled for one price, but now being in Los Angeles, oh,
Yeah.
well, we got to charge for the shampoo, we got to charge for the cut, we're charging for style. And it's
Right.
like, are you serious? I'm like, well, just cut my hair. Like all you got to do is wet it down. I'll wash it beforehand, just wet it and trim it, and then I'll style it myself.
Right.
I don't know. I don't fall into that. I don't fall prey to that crap, you
Oh
know?
yeah. Yeah, no, I think
But
that's ridiculous.
yeah, I found a really good girl though, that she is really good cutting curly hair. And so even for $75, I'm like, well, it's worth it because I've had so many people. That's the reason why I don't get my hair cut so much, is because people just cannot seem to cut my hair. It's super thick
Hmm.
and it's extremely curly, and people
Yeah.
cannot figure out how to deal with it for some reason. I don't know.
and, and the other reason I want to get a haircut too is because presentation. Normally I keep my hair
Oh,
as you saw in the
and you're a
headshot that I sent
Virgo.
you.
You're a Virgo.
Yes. Well, honestly, yes, yes, no, definitely. But, especially now, I put the baseball cap on, which has our logo and, um, but now, that's helped with the bushiness on top. But now when I put it on, you've
It's
got
gonna sit on your head.
right. It is harder to sit on my head. Yes. It's like a hard hat almost. But the sides of my hair, I've got a bushy sideburns now. So they're like poof, they're like popping out the sides. So I still look like this disheveled inspector that's come to your home with a mask on.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, I need to do something about this. So
Oh.
soon, hopefully I'll find something.
Yes, I do know. So I do have a friend that is also a coworker, and for one of the hotels that I work for, he is back at the spa, but
Oh,
the hotel itself, the occupancy is not, there's not much going on. There's not that many occupancy. And I
right.
think right now, the way, as far as hotel departments are concerned, it's for guests only. So that means
Oh,
prior to that, one of the two hotels that I work for are decently one's like in the heart of Beverly Hills and one's like off of Sunset.
Okay.
And um we had a lot of local traffic. We were the local base, like their local spa, their local hair place. Like they would come to the hotel to get everything done that they needed done.
Oh, okay.
So they weren't necessarily guests of the hotel, but they were
Oh,
neighbors. And
right.
so
Got it. Okay.
we made a good profit. It was probably we'd had more local returns mainly. So the fact that it's low occupancy, but then I think one of the policies, the restrictions is it can be it's only in-house guests that can, like, I know it's the only in-house guests that can use the pools and restaurants, but
Hmm.
it's still not enough for business. And then that's for me. So I actually saw last night that we, I saw through the news, but I haven't gotten anything from the Massage Council that stated that spas can reopen on the 19th. The
Okay.
only thing is, so for the spa or the therapist to really make money, it's because normally they give us a 15-minute window in between guests, clients, because we need to clean the room, like this was prior, clean the room, wash up, use the restroom, prep for the next person.
Hmm.
So we could get a pretty decent volume of people in for business. That's you try to cram as much as you can in with the time frame
Right.
that you have. And then with HR and the laws in place, like we can only do so many, that we have to take a break, we have to take a lunch for it to be legal, blah, 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 blah. So before you could do like three or four, but you have a 15-minute window. But now with the massage regulations, we are to change our clothes. We are, or I think they're going to maybe have us change an apron because there's no way. How am I supposed to change my clothes after every guest massaging guest? Like I'd have to go, that
Hmm.
takes time. And then we're supposed to deep clean the room every time. That's
Wow.
so much
You
time in
are.
between each guest. Yes, me as the massage therapist. And so that's where I'm like, I don't understand how we're going to make any money.
Hmm.
It doesn't, like, for me, I'm going to be able to do possibly three people in a
Yeah.
day. Whereas before, four or five is like a good day. Like, that's what I prefer because that's where I'm
Yeah.
making my money. So I don't know, like, how it's going to me, I was thinking, I don't know if I would be able to even rely on the hotel spas anymore.
Right.
And I don't know if they're going to allow outside guests either. So that, and if, like it's just going to be a really interesting process to see what's going to happen.
And when are you going to find out more?
I don't know. No one's like contacted me about anything. So I'm hearing it from like other people.
Hmm.
And like I
Okay.
said, so I did talk to my mobile agent, and I think that's probably going to be where, because I'm going to people's homes. So that way it's like, it's different for me going into their element. I'm not touching their walls. I'm not, like I'm in and out. I'm in one space and, like I bleach my sheets, I clean my table down and
Hmm.
all my products and everything like that. So, and I'm always washing my hands and I have sanitizer with me all the time too. So
Okay.
for me, I think it's easier. I think the business is going to be where like we go to the people as opposed to
Right.
the people coming to us. Like that's where I think the new market's going to be. So
Okay.
I'm okay with that because I've already have my foot in the door for a couple places where it's mobile. I mean, that's kind
Oh,
of why
okay.
I've always done it that way. I never put myself in one employment because one, I get kind of bored, and then if they make me mad or something like that, then I'm like, okay, um, I need to like not see you for a little while, and I don't want to quit,
Right.
you know. Um, so I don't know. I like to keep my options open, and you have to go with the flow. Yeah. So that's how I
Okay.
see that.
Well, we definitely look forward to your update to see what happens with your
Yeah.
industry. Hmm.
Yeah. So we were trying to keep this at 30 minutes, but we're at 40 minutes. Um, so I think we should take a little break because I do have a small little segment to come back to and chat with
Okay.
everybody. So uh yeah, we'll be back in 10, 15. I'm
Sounds good.
kidding.
We'll be
All
right
right.
back.
Right back.